Okay, is everyone getting there? All right, give me 1 second. Okay, so who would like to read the big blue arrow at the top of our page for me? Big blue arrow. Rihanna, what does it say?
Multiply by 5.
Very good. So today we will discuss multiplying by 5. What have we done in our past 2 lessons? What have we learned to do in the past couple of lessons? David?
Multiply and divide by 2.
Very good. So we multiplied by 2, and then we divided by 2. So now we're going to do that same thing, that same process, but by multiplying by 5s, and then we're going to divide by 5s, okay? So, when we multiplied by 2, did we notice that there was a pattern? When we multiplied by 2. Addie, you're shaking your head. Yes. What do you think?
Well, I noticed that when you added them like 2 times 1, 2 times 2, 2 times 3, it counted by 2s, and when you did it differently, it kind of counted by 3s or 4s, depending on how you did it.
Yeah, so when we multiply 2 by any number, it's always what? What's my answer always going to turn out to be, Rihanna? Will it be an even or an odd number? It'll be an even number, always. And like Addie was saying, so we have 2 times 0. That equals 0. Then we take a step up and we multiply it by 1. 2 times 1 equals 2. Then 2 times 2 equals 4. And 2 times 3 equals 6. So what would 2 times 4 be? Kyan?
8.
It would be 8.
And also if you do like 3, and if you're multiplying by an even number, it's always going to be 8. And if you multiply by an odd number, it's going to be even or odd.
Yeah, so Kyan said if we multiply by an even number, it's always going to be even. Our answer is going to be even. But if we multiply by an even or if we multiply by an odd number, it could be even or an odd, okay? So we need to keep that in mind. So that was our pattern for multiplying by 2 that we talked about. And so there is a pattern for multiplying by 5 as well. And I know that we looked at this when we looked at our multiplication tables a couple of lessons ago. So can anyone see a pattern in my multiplying by 5? Bella?
It goes up by 5.
Very good.
5, 10, 15.
Yeah, so it goes 0, 5, 10, 15. What would 5 times 4 be? Wesley?
20.
20. Very good. So you can count up by 5s. Also, what does every single number here end with? What does it end with? Brecken?
A 5 or a 0.
Very good. So if you're multiplying by 5, it's either going to end in a 5 or a 0. Okay, so let's keep that in mind while we work through our multiplication by 5 today. So who would like to read underneath the big arrow where it says you can use patterns? Rihanna?
You can use patterns to multiply by 5. Multiplying by a number is the same as subtracting by it.
Very good. So you can use patterns to multiply by 5, just like we were talking about. And multiplying is the same as skip counting by that number. What do you think they mean by skip counting? Addie?
Like when you skip count, you go like 5, 10, like you skip numbers in between numbers.
Yes, very good. So if I'm counting by 5 and I want to skip count, I go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and so on. And if I want to skip count by 3s, I go 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. So when we skip count, we don't count every single number. We just go up in the right amount that we want to, okay? So if I'm counting by 5s, this is how we would do it. Very good. Okay, so we're going to use that skip counting today to kind of really learn how to start multiplying by 5. So let's look at Math in My World, example number 1, okay? Who would like to read this problem out loud for me? Who would like to read the problem? Kyan? Oh, down here, right here. Leandro?
Leandro has 7 nickels. How much money does he have?
Okay, so he has 7 nickels. So how much is a nickel worth? Wesley?
5 cents.
5 cents, okay? So we're going to be counting by 5s. So how much money does he have if he has 7 nickels? So 1 nickel equals 5 cents. We're going to skip count by 5s to find 7 times 5 cents, okay? So in our diagram here, in our picture, they show us 7 nickels, and they show a repeated addition, but it's a little bit easier to just do skip counting, right, than just straight repeated addition. It will save us some time, okay? So let's skip count and see what answer we get. Who can skip count the 7 nickels for me? Jack?
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35.
Very good. So how much money is 7 nickels? Addie?
35 cents.
Very good. 7 nickels is 35 cents. Excellent. So 7 times 5 cents equals what? Addie?
35 cents.
35 cents, okay? So you have blue blanks on your sheet that you should be filling in, okay? So 7 nickels is equal to 35 cents. So all in all, Leandro has 35 cents, okay? So you should have your first 3 blanks filled in on this page. First 3 blanks. So next it says, notice the pattern in the products, okay? We just looked at this on the board. So what's our pattern in our products? What's a product first? What's a product? Reckon?
The answer to a multiplication problem.
Very good. The answer to a multiplication problem. So that's where we see our pattern. And let's review. What was our pattern that we talked about? Brianna?
It ends in a 0, 5, 0, 5, 0.
Yeah. So the product will either end in a 0 or a 5. And it'll also count up by how many? Addie?
If you're whatever number you're timesing, it will count up by that number.
So if I'm multiplying by 5, how many is it going to go up by each time if I go one at a time? Yep, it'll go up by 5 at a time. Very good. So let's extend our pattern. Let's write down even more. So it says 4 times 5 equals what? What would I be able to write down for that 4 times 5? Bella? 20. Okay, so your first blank down at the bottom should say 20. And then what is the next problem that we should fill in? 5 times what? What would come next? Grace, what would come next? 5 times what?
5.
Yep, 5 times 5. And what would 5 times 5 equal? Let's think. This one's 20. What's that one going to be if we count up by 5s? 25. Very good. So 5 times 5 equals 25. Make sure we really use that pattern to our advantage, okay? Okay, then I want you to fill in the last 2 spots on your own, okay? Fill in the last 2 on your own, and then we'll talk about it. So 6 times blank equals blank, and 7 times blank equals blank. Okay, Bella wants to share with us, so everyone close your reading books. Let's look at our chart here that we're filling in. Okay, so Bella, 6 times what?
6 times 5 equals 30.
Very good. And 6 times 5 equals 30. And 7 times what? Bella?
5 equals 35.
Very good. 7 times 5 equals 35. Excellent job. Okay, so you should have all the blanks filled in for your first page in this book. Okay, let's turn our page to page 314. I'm at the top example, example number 2. Who would like to read me this problem? Addie?
A watermelon patch has 6 rows of watermelon. Each row has 5 watermelons. How many watermelons are in the farmer's patch? Write a multiplication sentence with the symbol for the unknown.
Very good. Okay, so it gives us the number sentence. So what is our number sentence here? What's our number sentence? Maria? Very good. 6 times 5 equals blank. So we have an unknown number here. So now we're going to draw an array with 6 rows, okay? So I want you to draw an array. So it should have 6 rows. And how many should be in each row? How many? Wesley? 5. Very good. 6 rows with 5 things in each row. So you can draw an array with like squares, or you can draw out counters. Either one. 6 rows, 5 things in each row. Okay, so once you have that array drawn, then we need to draw another array, okay? So if we use the commutative property, how many rows would we have this time? Kyan?
5.
We would have 5 rows with 6 things in each row, okay? So I want you to draw another array with 5 rows and 6 items in each row, okay? Alright, so let's look below our chart here. Let's look below our chart. So there are blank rows of how many for our first array that we drew? David?
There were 6 rows of 5.
Very good. 6 rows of 5. So we're filling in the blanks underneath our drawing area. So there were 6 rows of 5. So 6 times 5 equals what? How many counters did you draw? Or how many boxes were in your array, Jack?
30.
30. Very good. 30. So our unknown is what? Addie?
30.
30. Very good. So our unknown is 30. Yes, Brianna? Yeah. Okay. Just a second. We're going to get ready to go on to recess. Okay, we're going to pause there because we need to get ready to go outside for recess. So, leave your books open on your desk. You can put your pencil in the middle of your book. What I want you to do is if you have snow pants and boots and all of that, we do not get dressed inside our coat room, okay? We don't get dressed in the coat room. We bring our things out to our desk